Welcome back, Holistic Soul Sisters. I'm Mandy Rose, your holistic health coach, spiritual mentor, and astrologer. In today's video, we're going to talk all about the full moon in Aquarius. I've been waiting all year for this full moon because this year, the zodiac sign that is making a lot of waves within our personal birth chart and in the collective is the zodiac sign of Aquarius. If you guys remember back to December 21st of 2020, remember the Christmas star? I've talked about this many times in my videos over the course of this year. We had Jupiter and Saturn entering the zodiac sign of Aquarius side by side at 0 degrees. And now we have Saturn hanging out in the zodiac sign for the next 3 years and Jupiter for most of 2021. It is the zodiac sign that's being highlighted. We're bringing up themes, we're learning lessons, and it's being activated over and over again with the square it's having with Uranus, wanting to break free and liberate. So this is the first full moon that we are having in Aquarius this year. This is a very unique year. We're actually having 2 full moons in the zodiac sign of Aquarius. So Aquarius is the part in our birth chart that we really need to be paying attention to. And with this being a full moon, the sun is completely illuminating this area of the sky and in our charts. So let's dive right into this video and what this means. So this full moon in Aquarius is happening on July 23rd at 10:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now the sun just entered into Leo yesterday, the day before this full moon occurs. So the sun is only at 1 degree of Leo. And directly across from it on the chart, we can see that the moon is at 1 degree of Aquarius. The sun loves being in Leo. It's at home here. So it's in its full power, shining so bright. And when it's shining directly across the zodiac at Aquarius, it's really going to illuminate and highlight and bring to our attention all the Aquarius themes. So what does Aquarius represent? Well, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and it loves freedom, it loves liberation and breaking free from societal norms. Aquarius is an air sign, so it's all about using our mind, being innovative, thinking outside of the box. Aquarius is not afraid to go against society's norms. It's okay with being the alien of the zodiac. It's okay with being different. It has a little bit of a detached energy. It's not codependent. It doesn't need to know the outcome. It's okay with just going with the flow and seeing what happens. Aquarius also rules the internet and technology and innovation and wanting to be at the forefront, the cutting edge, the breakthrough, because Uranus is all about breaking free and moving on and moving forward. So Aquarius brings these themes with it where it's ready to shake things up and bring newness into our lives and to think outside of the box and to do things that have never been done before in a way that we never thought possible. Aquarius loves to be independent. I always say, think of Aquarius like that genius inventor vibes. Think of Albert Einstein and Tesla and all these crazy inventors that would just sit in their lab for hours and hours and hours. They didn't care about their attachment to other people or their relationships. They didn't care if people thought that they were some wacky scientists. They didn't care if they were shunned from society. They knew their truth, and their truth was to do something for humanity, to make a difference, to dedicate their life's work to a purpose and a cause. So Aquarius also rules humanitarianism. It wants to do things for the greater good of society. It's not necessarily dependent on its own needs, but on the needs of everyone else. Aquarius also rules community groups and our social networks. So if we identify with maybe a specific sports team, or we identify with a specific career or profession, that is what Aquarius rules, is these large social groups and how we identify with them. But in order to fully understand this full moon, we don't need to just understand what Aquarius represents. We really need to understand what the sun in Leo represents, because with the sun being at home in Leo, like I said, it's in its full power. So if you haven't caught my Leo season video, you're going to want to go back and check that out, because I talk more in depth about the sun in Leo and Leo themes and what we can expect and anticipate over the 4 weeks of Leo season. But to sum it up for this video, remember that Leo is all about being bold and being confident and shining bright, being heard and being seen. And the sun is illuminating Leo and saying, I'm here to help you shine brighter than you've ever shone before. I'm here to help you feel super confident and to be noticed and recognized. And so we have the sun in this powerful, bold, fearless state. Think of the lion roaring. Well, in what direction is the lion roaring? Well, it's roaring straight across the sky at Aquarius, saying be bold and be brave, to take that risk and to be innovative, to think outside of the box, to do things that are going to change humanity forever and ever. So with this full moon, we might start to feel like the part of our lives that's stuck, that we can't seem to break free from, that we're trying to solve the problem in the same way over and over again, and we're never getting a solution. Nothing is actually changing. With this full moon, you might notice that with the confidence of the lion and the out of the box thinking of Aquarius combined, we are going to break that stuck energy, and we are going to find a new innovative way to solve a problem and to end a cycle. Remember, full moons are all about endings, releasing, letting go. When the moon is super bright, it's like we see it clearly now and we can let it go. And so we might notice that this part of our life that's being ruled in our birth chart, make sure you find Aquarius in your birth chart. What house is it in? What part of your life is this illuminating for you? And this is a time at this full moon that you are going to reach that peak, that culmination, and start to break free from this cycle in a new, unexpected way with confidence. So let's talk about some fun facts about this full moon. Fun fact number one is that we're actually going to have 2 full moons in Aquarius. This is super rare. Typically, as you can see from all the videos I've been recording, is every month we have a full moon in a new zodiac sign, and it follows the zodiac wheel. So starting out the astrological year in Aries season, we have a full moon in Libra. Then we have a full moon in Scorpio, then a full moon in Sagittarius, and so on around the astrological wheel month after month. But this year in 2021, not only is Saturn and Jupiter super activating the Aquarius part of our chart, plus we're in the age of Aquarius, we are going to have 2 full moons in the zodiac sign of Aquarius. Super rare. And by the time the sun moves from 1 degree of Leo to 30 degrees of Leo, we are going to have another full moon. So this first full moon is happening at 1 degree of Aquarius, and the second full moon next month in August is going to be at 29 degrees of Aquarius. Each zodiac sign only has 30 degrees. So this is extremely rare to have 2 back-to-back full moons. But in astrology, like I said, things that happen in threes, things that happen in repetition are really trying to indicate to us and waving a red flag to pay attention. So whatever themes come up for you at this full moon, whatever is going on in your life during this full moon, whatever tension you need to break, whatever things are coming up to be brought to your attention, the moon bright in the sky brought to your attention, know that you're going to have another opportunity next month to release and let go those last little stuck parts that you couldn't let go of this month. We're going to get another opportunity to revisit a lot of these themes. So make sure if you have your 2021 astrology journal, you definitely fill out the journal prompts for this full moon in Aquarius, because as you see and you flip through into August, we are going to have another full moon in Aquarius. You're going to want to notice and recognize what did you journal this month in July and what's still coming up and hasn't been unstuck in August, because again, we'll have another full moon in Aquarius. And the second fun fact about this full moon is, like I said, Jupiter was heavily involved in activating Aquarius back on December 21st when Jupiter and Saturn entered Aquarius together. Now, in my Saturn retrograde video, I share with you guys my fun story about Saturn and Jupiter being roommates in 2021. If you haven't caught that story, go back and watch the Saturn retrograde video, because I kind of talk about how Saturn and Jupiter decided to move into an apartment together. The apartment is called Aquarius, and they committed to a 1-year lease. But by May, Jupiter got really sick and tired of Saturn being all about structure and discipline and being super parental and wanting to do things with rules and building foundations. Jupiter just wants to have fun, and he's optimistic, and he's go with the flow, and he thinks life is all about abundance and joy. And he got real sick and tired of Saturn's crap, and he went on vacation to the Maldives. So in May, he took off and went on vacation, and he entered the zodiac sign of Pisces. He got away from Saturn. So then when this happened, because Jupiter brings optimism and Jupiter brings joy and lightens Saturn's load, lightens the stress and the tension we feel from Saturn, When he dipped out and went to Pisces, that activated the Aquarius part of our chart to be really strict, really tough. And then Saturn entered its retrograde. So we probably have not only activated this part of our birth chart where Aquarius is, but we felt a lot more pressure and tension and rules and karmic lessons coming up since Saturn has been here all alone. He's been home alone to do whatever he wants. And he's at home organizing and creating rules and getting up every morning at 6 a.m. and going to the gym and making all these things happen because Jupiter is not around to say, hey, let's go to the movies. Hey, let's go to the mall. Let's go to the pool. Because Jupiter is off having a great old time by himself. Now, at this full moon, Jupiter has gone retrograde. And at the moment of this full moon, you can see from the chart here, Jupiter is back in Aquarius. He's at 0 degrees of Pisces. He's on the border of coming back home to his apartment in Aquarius with Saturn because he's not done. He has to finish his commitments. He has to finish helping us get through the rest of the year without Saturn bearing down its burden and it feeling so tough and so difficult. So this is good news for us. When Jupiter pops back into this area of our birth chart of Aquarius, it's going to help us lighten the load. It's not going to feel so tense. It's not going to be so difficult anymore, but Jupiter is back to work. Vacation time is over. He's got to finish his lease. He's got to wrap up the lessons and continue on forward for us. So this leads me into talking about the aspects the other planets are making and the communications and conversations they are having with the full moon at this time. So like I said, as we can see from this chart, the sun is in Leo. We also have Mercury hanging out here in Leo with the sun. And Mercury is all about our logic. It's all about our mind. It's all about finding the facts and analyzing things and trying to come at problems with a very logical way of thinking. So the sun has its partner, Mercury, hanging out with it, saying, hey, I'm going to light this up so we can see more clearly, so we can see what's going on over here in Aquarius. Do you want to help me analyze what's going on? Do you want to help me assess with the facts? So then what's going on over here in Aquarius? You can see over here in the chart in Aquarius, we have the moon, of course, because it's a full moon, but we also have Saturn over here. So the sun isn't just activating the moon, it's also activating Saturn, karma, discipline, structure, taskmaster, and the timekeeper. And he wants us to have rules and discipline so that we can get to our goals. And Saturn has been in this constant square with Uranus. If you guys have been watching my videos, you know I keep talking about this Saturn-Uranus square. It's been activated all year in 2021. We had the first one back in February. Then Saturn went retrograde and it activated it again at the beginning of July. And now at this full moon, we're having the sun light up Aquarius, highlighting this tension that we're having between Saturn and Uranus. Uranus wants to liberate and break free, and Saturn wants structure and discipline. So there's this area of your life where Aquarius falls in your birth chart, and Taurus and Uranus in Taurus is saying, let's break free. Like, we want to liberate. We want to do things different. So this square is still existing at this full moon, especially with the sun illuminating Aquarius. And then we have another opposition. The sun and the moon are in opposition across the sky, but we also have Mercury in an opposition with Pluto. Now, Mercury is logic and Pluto is retrograde. And Pluto, when he's retrograde, is all about bringing up anger, control, manipulation, our ego. So Mercury is saying we have to logically analyze with our mind, our ego. Where is our ego getting in the way? Because with Pluto being directly across the chart in the sky, Pluto is retrograde, asking us to assess our ego, check our ego, get rid of our ego. This is super highlighted for us right now to break free from this tension of Saturn and Uranus, to break free from some stuck pattern in our life. We really need to use our analytical mind of Mercury to break free and get rid of our ego with Pluto being retrograde. And the last aspect I mentioned in the fun fact, with Jupiter entering back into Aquarius, he's dancing on the border, he's on that plane on his way back home to his apartment with Saturn in Aquarius. He's at 0 degrees. Directly across from him, we have Mars and Venus. Now, Mars and Venus just came conjunct about 10 days before this full moon. If you caught me talking about that on my social media, when Mars and Venus come conjunct, it's beautiful. It's the feminine and the masculine. I talked more about it in the new moon in Cancer video, so go back and check that out. Even though the new moon is already over, you can still listen to that video and hear me talk about this conjunction, Mars and Venus. And so since this conjunction 10 days ago, you can see on the chart that Venus has ran forward a little bit into Virgo, and she's at 2 degrees of Virgo. Meanwhile, Mars is dragging behind just a little bit, so he's still in Leo at 26 degrees. So between 26 degrees of Leo and 2 degrees of Virgo, we have the energy, the tension. They're still close enough that they're still vibing off each other with that feminine and masculine energy. And directly across from it on the chart is Jupiter, dancing between vacation mode and getting back to reality. So think about how that feels for you when you've left your vacation and you're on the plane and you're not home yet, and you know as soon as you land, you're gonna have to get back to business. And so that's what Jupiter is feeling, this tension, this energy between, well, I've left the fun and I gotta get back to work, but I'm just on the plane. So this is over, but this hasn't begun yet. And meanwhile, over here across the chart, we have Mars and Venus, who just had this dance, this beautiful harmony dance, also breaking free and trying to get back to their normal routine. They joined together, had a beautiful commitment, a beautiful hangout session, and now they're going back to their realities. So there's a lot of getting back to reality. So we're going to be feeling that at this full moon. We have a lot of oppositions in the sky. We have the sun and the moon opposition. We have Jupiter and Mars and Venus opposition. We've got Mercury and Pluto opposition. So again, this full moon is bringing a lot of oppositions, a lot of aha moments where we have to look things straight in the eye and get back to reality and break the tension and break the problems and move forward. And don't forget, we're going to have another chance. If we can't accomplish it this go round at this full moon, we're going to have another opportunity to revisit some of these themes, as the next full moon in August is also highlighting Aquarius themes. If you can't get it all done this month, don't stress out, we're gonna get another chance. And now I'm gonna wrap up this video with some things that you could be doing around this full moon to maximize the energy and to create an impact in your life to move forward. The number one thing you might wanna do around this full moon is assess your codependency issues. The reason I bring that up is because Aquarius is all about being detached. It likes freedom. It likes to do things the way it wants to do it. It doesn't want to be told what to do. It wants to be outside of the box. It doesn't care about being the alien. And so it doesn't like to be tied down. So assess your codependency issues, right? Figure out where in your life do you not want to make a move without checking with other people, right? Because this is a time we need to make moves. This is a time that we need to break free from something, unstick some sort of energy by thinking outside of the box, by being Aquarius and innovative. So where are you codependent on needing approval from other people before you make a move? Where do you feel like you need to please others and be inside the box? It's time to assess where you can break free, be independent, and get out of the box for you. And the other thing you might want to do is do some sort of ritual around the death of your ego. Leo rules our ego. It loves to shine bright. It can be a little bold and abrasive and egotistical. And with Mercury being there and Pluto being across saying, hey, we gotta kill this vibe. We can't be acting from our ego. We can't be going around and projecting our ego and thinking we're the bomb.com when we really need to be reassessing things and doing things from our heart. Leo rules the heart. So some sort of ritual around the death of your ego might be really beneficial at this time. So I hope this full moon in Aquarius treats you well. I hope you learned some things in this video that you could be focusing on at this time. Make sure you hit like and subscribe so you can catch the next full moon in Aquarius video. If you haven't gotten your copy of the 2021 Retrograde Astrology Journal, I still have copies for sale. Find the link in the description box below. If you'd like to book a birth chart reading and dive more into Aquarius in your birth chart, figure out where all this tension and the squares and the opposition are happening for you and what areas of your life, I'd be honored to do a birth chart reading for you. You can send me an email that I linked in the description box below, and I'd be happy to book something for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next video.